Good morning, guys. Today is November 13th of 2024, and I thought I'd do a post-election video for those who care to listen. Um, yeah, so it's taken me a week or so to really just come to terms with it. I don't understand it. Uh, Kamala Harris had Kamala Harris. Sometimes it sounds like I don't say it right. She had the whole momentum going. The blue wave was really strong, and yeah, I was just shocked the next morning. We didn't stay up for the results, and just like 2016, it was just devastation all over again. And I'm just kind of numb, honestly. But I want to talk about not really the all that stuff. I want to talk about how this is going to affect us as Americans, in my eyes, through my eyes. Uh, I'm not sure if he's going to be able to implement everything he says he's going to do, just simply because there's not the money to do what he wants to do. Um, as far as immigration and what I've listened to, and questions that have been interviewed by the guy who's taken over the border, is ahead of it. He has no empathy. He is detached from any human emotions, and to even go after the so-called million undocumented immigrants in this country, it was told to him that they had said that it was going to cost $88 billion, and that's a million immigrants a year. And she said, is the government willing to pay that much or something like that? I'm paraphrasing all this. And he just said, well, is your home security worth that or something on that order? And I just thought that there's just no way to deport mass deportations unless they just pick them off the street and don't ask for their IDs and stuff. And I've talked on this channel about my faith. I've talked about how I've always had comfort in my lowest points in my life, and that I've always believed in the greater good, and I still do. That's why my gut is so torn up. I know Americans will pull through this. I don't know what the battle is in the future with Trump and his regime, but I do know that there are laws and there are lawyers and there are governors and there are attorney generals that are really getting prepared. They had already started getting prepared, I believe, but they're standing their ground now with Trump and his administration, and telling them not to f with them. So I know that I'm in California. I know that our governor is on things. The one thing I wish Democrats would do, which I really thought that was changing with the Harris campaign, was calling Trump out on the carpet about everything he's lying about how he's doing this and how about saying this is not right, about instead of sugarcoating things and saying we're going to stand. And I like the stand part, but I also would like them to iterate in their wording what he's doing, what he's going to try to do, and his lies. And that way they're talking to the people of the state and other states that are clicking on their videos, that giving them this this message, because I have watched a lot of videos where they have shown people on TikTok, on Instagram, short reels, Facebook, that have regretted voting for Trump. Why they did in the first place, I really don't know. But I do know that I tune into Midas Touch, and I believe that's Meidastouch on YouTube. They're lawyers, they're brothers, and there's, I know the main guy is a lawyer, but they bring out the facts of the parties. They have brought out all the lies that Trump has spewed. They just are really a good source to get your information from. And I know that they show the contrast between during the campaign, Kamala and Trump. And I just don't know why voters changed at the last minute to vote for Trump. Hispanics, I'm reaching out to you guys. I am married to a Hispanic. She is disgusted with the Hispanics in this country, not standing up for civil rights, not standing up for their families. Um, I watched one clip where this very heavy accent Hispanic guy, I don't know where he's from, saying that they should deport the undocumented criminals. That's because they led him to believe that there's hundreds and thousands of criminals coming over the border, which isn't true. Uh, Biden's had less undocumented immigrants crossing the border than Trump did, um, of what they can take count of. But when he was saying that, and then the interviewer said, "Well, what about the families of the people who are working in the restaurants and stuff?" And he said, "Oh no, they shouldn't take those people." It's like they're not going to sit and pick. They can't. And the interviewer told him, "Well, you can't. They can't just tell if someone's a criminal or not. They're going to take everybody." Oh no, 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 just the criminals. And I'm just like, the criminals really aren't fleeing here because they're not held accountable in Mexico. It's like, listen, I can tell you we do have a large majority of Hispanic criminals. I know that in California for a fact because I'm retired from that the law enforcement system in that area. But I also know it's we are heavily populated with the Hispanic population. So if you were to do the percentages compared to the percentage of white people, black people, brown people, Hispanics, whatever you want to call them, uh, they would probably pretty much almost even out, maybe a little bit more crime from the Hispanics, but not as much as it looks like when you don't include the other ethnic groups that are doing time. But the rhetoric is that they're going to even take strip people away from their citizenship, and then that includes my wife. Now we're getting to family. I don't believe it's going to come to that. I could be wrong, but I do believe in the greater good. I do believe that the country we were born into and the privileges we have as Americans, and then the rights we've gained as minority groups. Um, sure, they might be on hold, uh, but it's not a permanent thing. I just can't believe it. Now, let's talk a little bit about the trans rights. 4 years ago in 2016, he was going after trans. He went into the military. He did a little bit of changing there. There was trans people that were affected, and their buddy soldiers were very upset about it because they didn't have a problem with it. Um, the lie and the rhetoric about kids going to school and them changing their sexes when they go home. That is just an obvious common sense lie. I mean, come on, people. It's like if you believe that rhetoric, it's like I just really can't get around my head the attitude that has come out since Trump walked went down that elevator in 2015, how he's unleashed this hate, this racism, this bigotry, everything. And that people I know, when they voted this time, they voted for all that because they know him now. And I know some of my family's part of that. If they voted, I don't know for sure if they voted. There's a lot of Republicans that didn't vote, but there's a hell of a lot of people that voted Republican. I'm not saying they're Republicans, but they did vote Republican. It's funny how the swing states voted Democrat down the ticket, and then the top is all of a sudden Republican. It just doesn't make, none of it makes sense to me. I'm not going to predict anything, and I'm not going to, I just, it doesn't sit right with me. And like I said, I just have to stick to the greater good. So let's get back to the trans. I'm reaching out to all you trans people that watch my channel, and even the people who aren't trans. Please, if you know any children, any teenagers, any young adults, guys your age, women your age that are going to be affected by anything in the future, reach out your hand. Do what you can to help these kids, because he's closing down a whole major mental health. And I don't want to see suicides. I don't want to see more depression. Just tell them to hang in there, that you see them, that you know where they're at, you know how they feel. And God help us with all the kids that are being raised with these people who support this kind of rhetoric, that support this kind of um, behaviors that the MAGAs have. Uh, Lord help the schools, because it's already been coming out in some of the mouths of kids. My wife is an eighth grade teacher, and she said you wouldn't believe the Hispanics and what they were all happy for Trump and all that. And they don't know anything about it. It's just what their parents are saying, what they're hearing from their friends, their buddies, it's I'm hoping that we can get back to decency in this country and come together and agree that religion is separate from state and government. Let it be. Religion is a choice, and that's all it is. The only purpose that it serves is it does help. I truly believe that it does help some families who need a foundation, that need that. I feel good on Sundays, happy on Sundays, face a lot of stuff during the week, and then you come back on Sunday and you sing joyous songs and you feel good with other people and you feel loved and you feel those inspirations. I believe in that. I don't believe in the hammer coming down on the pulpit telling people they're wrong, they're sinning, this and that, you should be doing this and that. I don't, because I believe if you want to go by the Hebrew Bible, the Hebrew book, God has the power to strike all of us down, to start over. But that's not what and he didn't say he left a book for everybody to follow. Um, the thing that comes out of the book is that he sent his only beloved son to die for our sins. And then what did Jesus do? When he rose, he left the comforter to guide us. So that inner self is what when you feel like you're not doing, you're lying, That's the comforter saying, hey, 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 you may still do it, but then you may just listen to your gut, listen to that inner voice, and step back from that. That's what I believe. I believe that we all have, whatever you want to call it, a conscience. Some of us don't, but some of us are so buried deep that we don't listen to that inner self. We're all born with the comforter in us. Um, I just that's the way I believe. And these people using God, they're it's just history repeating itself. Man wants power. Man wants power and greed. That's going to destroy him. They never prevail. Think of these stories about kings and the Pharisees and, you know, leaders. Sure, you see a few countries that are led by tyrants, dictators, authoritarians, but they always fall. They always fall. It may take years, but they always fall. With Trump, we have a system that's been built in for over 200 years in the states, at the state level, overall is the government level, and that's what he'll be messing with. But our states all have a democracy within themselves. And if you live in a state that is totally red and you don't see it ever changing, think about moving to a blue state. Think about having some peace of mind. Even after Trump, the next Republican, or the Republicans in your state that are always pushing strict strict laws within your state that come against you or your children. Talk to your husband if you have a partner. If you're part of that minority group, the LGBTQAI, I think it is, or whatever the letters are, the acronym is, or you're black, or you're brown, or you're even undocumented, but you've been in the U.S. all your life. Those kind of people move to a blue state. California has lots of room. Uh, Oregon, Washington, Nevada, all the states that voted blue. Look at them. If you're on the East Coast, you got Maine, Vermont. I don't know if Vermont, I think Vermont voted blue, but they are blue. Bernie Sanders, is from Vermont. But think of all these states. Biden's from over there. So really think about making that major step in your life. Saying, I'm done with this rhetoric. Yeah, my whole family's here and stuff, but where are you with your family? How did they vote? Or do they talk about it? Or are they just not into politics? Um, my family, my sister, my mom, they're not into politics. But my sister has a friend, and my brother-in-law's a Republican, and now her oldest daughter, and then that's the influence my youngest niece gets. She's not into politics, but that's the influence she gets from all her friends are Republican around here. I live in a very conservative area, and that's where they get their information. I don't talk much about politics around them. I try not to, but I know that's where they get their information. And they complain about the immigrants here, yet who mows their yards, who cleans their houses, who comes out and trims their trees that are cheaper than the big companies here. They don't think about what what the green card or undocumented Hispanics do for this community. And you don't see no white boys anymore in my city doing their yards. Back when I was a teenager, they did, but not since. It's all become Hispanics. All the gardening businesses around here. And even my nieces who are home all the time, they have someone come in and clean their house once a month, deep clean it. And I'm like, really? You guys can't do that? But I mean, those are just things that white people have gotten so used to. And uh, I think this is going to be a big learning curve for these people who voted for Trump because things are not black and white, they're rainbow. And I just want to encourage all of you, please seek help. Reach out to those that you know are going to be affected by things that are coming. Uh, just know that whatever you have now, even, even me, they say they're going to reverse all the marriages. Well, in California, our marriage is legal because we just passed um, a bill saying that they're going to change the wording of the Constitution here to be marriage is between two people and not gender. So, um, but there are people like Tony and I that will be affected throughout the U.S. who have been married 27 plus years, and that's Tony and I have been together 27 years. Uh, Tony is an American citizen and has been since almost since we've been together. So that's the worst scenario that how it will affect me is they'll send Tony back, but we will deal with that, and it's not going to be a forever thing. Uh, but I don't think it'll come to that, honestly. I think there's a lot of hype right now. He's choosing a lot of very conservative, wacko people for his cabinet, but there are still things in the making that I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I've even been on a cookie. I made cookies yesterday because of my inner emotional status. It's just up in the air. I don't have a thought about one or the other. And Lord knows I don't I shouldn't eat flour. It gives me headaches and it bloats me. And I'm bloated this morning because I ate like 5 cookies yesterday. I was just like they didn't taste good, that it wasn't giving me an endorphin rush or anything, but I was just like thinking and eating and thinking and eating. And that's my problem. I have too much to think about. And it's really cold here right now, and we had a big windstorm and rainstorm Monday night. Blew off half my roof in the hay barn. I got to go fix that, but it's too wet right now to do anything like that. That would get my mind off it was is going out there and working. Uh, but I wanted to get on here. I know this is a long video, and I hope you've stayed with me. But I'm just a normal person talking about this whole thing, and you see how I think I'm normal. It doesn't matter if I'm trans. I don't ever call myself trans to anybody. I just am me, and that's how I look through my eyes. The minute that I hit puberty and started was attracted sexually, it was always natural to me. So that's the only way I can can explain the sexual orientation for the LGBTQIAI or IA or however you say it. Anyway, you guys take it one day at a time. Always make your journey as simple as possible. We'll talk to you later.